Oh, yes. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the globe. It is your darling program, The Comrade and Friends, a segment of your regular program, The Comrade Show. Today, the 11th of August 2024, promises to be yet another important one. And I tell you, there are two major topics, relatively more on Edo State, that we're going to be talking about today. May I also remind us, for those of us in the United Kingdom, the English Premiership will start, or have started yesterday, really, with the opener between Manchester United and Man City, which is the winners of the Premier League and the winner of the FA Cup, setting the ball rolling with what we call Community Shield. And as usual, Man City edge out Manchester United. Let's see what the season is going to offer to us, 2024-2025 season. And of course, on the international scene, today is the last day of the Olympics currently taking place in France. As you already would be aware, Nigeria went there with a huge contingent, but came out with no medal. Hopefully, it's going to be next time. But today is your darling program, The Comrade and Friends. Do not go away. Don't touch that die. We shall be right back. Oh, yes. Welcome back. I have with me in the house today our regular CNC, the man that is always in situ, week in, week out, day in, day out. No other but our dear comrade, CNC of the Comrade Show, Comrade Lante Bonsariaki. Can you say hello to our viewers, Comrade Lante?
Thank you very much, Comrade Pharmacist Austin Eremira. Yes, Nigerians, greetings to you all from wherever you are joining us from. It is the Comrade Show. Please, you know the drill. Share the broadcast. Let's get it around. It is the road to Edo 2024. It promises to be exciting. Yes, over to you, Pharmacist.
Yeah, thank you so much, Comrade. Always a pleasure to see you. I always love the way you come out. You're looking really comradeship, I would say. But comrade, this is not on cue, but just on the lighter side. I did introduce that Premiership has already started with the opener yesterday. But the Olympic coming to an end today, and your dear country, Nigeria, has gone to the Olympics with no medal. How does that meet you?
Honestly, I had a chat, about this with somebody. Yeah, very much earlier today, and I am dazed. I'm dazed. I was having this chat with a Ghanaian, somebody I just met on the way. We're talking about the Olympics, and I am really dazed. The reason is because not just because of this edition, but because of how poor we seem to perform, when it comes to the Olympics and even sports generally. Now, the reason why I'm dazed is this. I mean, you see countries like France, even though they are the hosts, Germany, all of these small countries, winning loads of medals. Bro, Nigeria is well over 200 million population. Nigeria, is like the size of England, Spain, Germany, and probably Portugal put together. And yet we go to the Olympics, we can't even, come up with one medal. Now, you may think that's a Nigerian problem, like the athletes. But we have Nigerians flying the colors of other countries, winning medals. People who are originally Nigerians, okay? But because Nigeria is not favorable, they want to ply their trade in some other countries, and they are excelling. Which means that if certain things were right in Nigeria, we probably should be leading the Olympics and other sporting activities because we have the human resources. But unfortunately, everything boils down to the very righteousness. The Bible says, seek ye first the righteousness, and every other thing shall be added. There is a righteousness that we as Nigerians, we have refused to seek properly. And that is why everything is just the way it is right now.
All right, thank you so much, Comrade Lante. I'll stop you there. I don't want to start you on those big issues, but we must, like you said, I think the Olympics is a time to showcase all you have. And like you said, Nigerians across the globe are doing well, even though not for our country, but they are born and bred Nigerian. Look at Yemisi Ogunlewe of Germany winning that gold medal, and now he was even able to speak some words in Yoruba, sing in Yoruba, and also even say where the parents come from. But like Comrade Lante, I think it's a reflection of what's happening just now in our country. Once we get leadership right, I tell you, all trophies will be coming down the way of Africa.
That is the righteousness, the political righteousness we need to seek right.
Absolutely, and not just Africa be coming to Nigeria. But thank you so much. Because of the many things that we have to talk about in Edo State, we are not looking really at the international scene and even the national scene. There's so much to talk about. But my dear friends, viewers of the Comrade Show, please, like Comrade said, do not touch that dial. Remember to always share all our programs. Share this right now so that people will get involved. Comrade, if we have any signature tune, we can take that so that we can come back again to start the show proper.
Labour Party.
Nwata no Labour Party otu ni mani viedoze no rima otu ne Peter Obi ye ona otu no ga setiru agbakpa kevo maye otedo mani viedo manemi no bugbe bo bakari oba no ga mani makeve mo magwalo ọnwa anọga setiru na hia ye no vi ma otima Olumide Osaigbovo Akpata ọgarue awọ gbugbo ga me iyobo ne va me na kpọwe ya owisi mi egbe garo ukpaga babe he ya ọga wiyobi go neva ni dueki ibi maga yesuku no ma okwi pata viziga no kiabe ya na eyarisi yo wariazene Olumide Osaigbovo Akpata ari yere ipise yan gene patinike dovebona iya ma ruevi rokpa iya ma gbetu fiele ona hiayi ma ya fe riazene oviedo oviesesese Olumide Osaigbovo Akpata no ladiame Labour Party no yeravi yewo moya nwagbe ari yere Olumide Osaigbovo Akpata Peter Obi o wariazene Labour Party osataene o
Labour Party. Party ni magwalo.
Oh, yes, ladies and gentlemen. Comrade Lamte, you are still in the house. But let's just go through to the thick of the matter. Like I said today is just us discussing the road to 2024, September 21st, Edo State Governorship elections. On the 9th of August, last week, a group referred to as the Edo Renaissance organized the first ever debate for governorship aspirant in Edo State. It's been adjourned, and we'll get to let you know that our candidate of the Labour Party, Barrister Osaigbovo Olumide Akpata, performed so well and he's been adjudged the best and gave answers directly to what questions were posed before him. But I tell you, the sad part of it is that 3 of the leading governorship candidates were invited. Akpakomiza of the APC, Aswa Igodalo of PDP, and Barrister Olumide Akpata of Labour Party. And at the beginning of the program, one candidate was conspicuously absent, and this has caused a very bad taste in the mouth. The governorship candidate of APC, Senator Monday Okpewolo, often referred to as Akpakomiza, was conspicuously absent. And many people that attended the interview and even commentaries are beginning to raise dust. Although we've seen 1 or 2 examples, but we think it's very important for a candidate that intends to lead a very savvy, sagacious state like Edo State, we would like to hear indeed from the mouth of the candidate. And 9th of August last week offered yet another opportunity, but Akpakomiza of the APC was conspicuously absent. Comrade, our men on the ground and many people in Edo State are miffed. Is this becoming a trend? Why are people speaking for the man that want to lead a sagacious state like our state, Edo State? The absence or no show of the APC governorship candidate, Senator Monday Okpewolo. How did this meet you, Comrade Lamte? Is this the way forward? I dare ask again, which way, Edo State?
You know, everything about our nation, earlier we had the establishment, of the Olympics and how poorly we have performed as a nation. And now we have zeroed down to Edo State. It may seem, to the ears listening that these things are not connected. But the truth of the matter is that they are all intertwined. And the unfortunate aspect is that This is the tragedy of our nation today. It's a huge tragedy, and it's a huge travesty in itself. Now, the travesty in it is that even while the whole world of Edo State people will see that this is the wrong path, this is the wrong candidate to be in this environment at all, you find people that you probably hitherto have great respect for because of the kind of personalities they are, okay, coming out to defend this human being, a human being who has refused to engage with the people he wants to govern, a human being who has refused to, interface with the people he wants to govern, a human being who is running, and the people who are handling him are helping him run because they know that this man cannot speak to the issues that bother Edo State people. They know that Akpakomiza of the APC, okay, is not competent. Now, the worst thing you hear now is that they try to blindfold people. You hear them say that APC, PDP, all the political parties, they are the same. They now want to support an individual, a good person. That Akpakomiza of the APC is a good man. Because he's a good man, that's why they are supporting him. It's not because of APC and all of that. They start speaking, hiding under such jargons. Meanwhile, you and I know that all of the people, with all due respect, okay, who are clustered around this APC candidate right now, there are two groups of people. One group are people who are just APC members. The other group who are not APC members are members who are people who believe that when they have this puppet as governor, okay, they have some personal benefits that will come to them. At the end of the day, all of them put together, none of them is looking at the best interest of Edo State. None of them consider Edo State as the primary, object or subject that needs to be protected. They are all doing what they are doing because they believe that when they have this puppet in place, okay, they have their legs under the table. They believe that when they have this puppet in place, they have some personal benefits coming to them. You understand? And that is why they keep on making the case and argument. Now, we saw this with Buhari, because it's a pattern right now with the APC. We saw it with Buhari. 8 years of Buhari, Nigerians can tell the story. I don't need to repeat anything. Now, we saw the same thing with the current president, who refused to engage with any Nigerian media house. Today, part of the benefit that we are reaping is that Nigerians are not going out to protest. Nigerians are not dying in protests. Hunger is everywhere. Apart from Nigerians dying in protest because police is shooting at Nigerians that are protesting peacefully, the high cost of food is already killing people. The non-availability of basic necessities that make life meaningful for the Nigerian people. The non-availability is already killing millions of Nigerians. And at the end of the day, okay, we see the pattern. Some of our people take stipends in 1,000, 10,000, 20,000 to defend this gross immorality, gross illegality, and they force this human being on us. At the end of the day, what becomes our lot is complain. And now we're taking our complaint to the next level, protest. Apparently, Akpakomiza, I probably forgive him for not having appeared in some other, engagements where he was invited. But by
I was going to come to that.
But by not appearing for a debate with other candidates that are vying for the same office, is not just a disrespect, it's a huge affront on whatever is left of this civil rule they call democracy. It's a huge affront on the collective intelligence of Edo State people, and it's unacceptable. I would rather say that Akpakomiza, as a matter of fact, should step down immediately from this race. I would rather say that. I think that should be the advocacy. Akpakomiza cannot, should not, must not be foisted on Edo State people. I have told myself, and I've said it today, I've told you privately, that if a human being like Akpakomiza emerges, either by hook or by crook, because I know whatever plans they are having. But if it is by way of genuine ballot count, Akpakomiza will not be governor of Edo State. But if they force Akpakomiza on Edo State, some of us have our decisions that we've already made that we have kept aside. As far as our own connection between us and Nigeria as a nation. Honestly, this kind of immorality should not continue. It's insulting, it's embarrassing, it's a shame. As a matter of fact, all of those handling him and those supporting him, with all due respect, I think people should bury their heads in shame, because this is not happening. It's not happening.
Bury their head in shame indeed. But Comrade Lamte, I just want to describe some historical perspective. It was Reuben Abati that once said that once you become president, there is a difference in the presidency and in Aso Rock. Could we also say so of once you become governor, there's a difference in the state house? I'm driving somewhere. Before now, the present president of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, anytime, any day, is a great debater, a man that stood for democracy, fought the military. And when he was governor of Lagos State, of course, he was very, very eloquent and knows how to maneuver his way with words. I was even watching a recent protest that he led, and he spoke very well. Even in the difficult days of the first term and second term of President Muhammadu Buhari, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was up and doing talking. 2023 presidential election, we saw a radical departure from what we know of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Many people gave different reasons. And now it's in the State House in Aso Rock. Something different has just happened. He has refused again to engage. So I gave this historical analysis just to draw your mind back. Could this be a pattern that is becoming very, very successful in Nigeria that APC want to tool? I also take you back to the recently concluded governorship election in Delta State. The current governor, Oborowori, was media shy and avoided all form of media pally. Eventually, he became governor and is the sitting governor of Delta State. So as you hammer on morality, I feel your pain passionately. But I want to say, it appears morality is a little bit far from governance in Nigeria. Don't you see this trend? Having very verifiable results is something to emulate. And that is why APC is just trying to make that come to reality in Edo State. I say God forbid.
Well, you see, I think that I'm not looking at the APC. I'm looking at Nigerian people. I'm looking at the Nigerian people because we have had to entrench this nonsense. APC is not a human being. It's made up of human beings. And these human beings have connection with other human beings. Apparently, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not the man stealing ballot boxes, okay? But Bola Ahmed Tinubu has people who are willing to steal ballot boxes. As we speak right now, somebody was taking a swipe at me in recent days. As a matter of fact, it was in one of my own local gatherings here in the UK, and the person was telling me that I am, instead of me, okay, to align with APC or PDP, that his friends that are in alignment with APC and PDP, they are feeding very fat because they are put on. Some of them are put on salary. You understand? To be pushing out the propaganda of APC, others for the PDP, and they are being paid to do so. You understand? Instead of me to join them and get the benefit of what I should get personally now, I am here campaigning for Labour Party and talking about Olumide for him that is not going anywhere and all of that. And I told him, I said, well, unfortunately, we both stand on different grounds. You understand? As far as this matter is concerned, for me, it's not a do or die affair. If Olumide wins, I will win with him. If he loses, I will lose with him. Either way, I am a very satisfied man that I am standing believably where my conscience believes I should stand. I'm standing with a man that I believe has integrity. I'm standing with a man that I believe has the competence, the necessary, competence to govern Edo State. And I'm standing with a man who is an outsider, who has no history with governance, who might believe when he wins, he will understand that he won because those two people supported him.
Comilante, let us stay on the issue of Akpakomiza because we are going to be talking more about the debate in a few minutes' time.
Yes, the issue you raise now, okay, it is not APC dealing with this matter in isolation. It's a matter that APC gradually introduced because they have no respect for the Nigerian people. They know that the collective will of Nigerian people matter to a 0 point. They believe that they can use their money.
May I also say, just to quickly correct myself, I think in Delta State, it was not APC, it was PDP.
Well, my brother, you know, we have already established, okay, that PDP and APC, they are two sides of the same coin, right? We've already established that the bulk of the people you find in APC today, they are members of PDP. And surprisingly, I mean, not surprisingly, some of them will be members of PDP tomorrow. The ones you find in PDP, okay, before long, they'll be members of APC. So they're always, you know, pushing this thing. However, the reason why APC becomes a standout, you know, arrangement in this matter is because prior to the emergence of Buhari, okay, when is it the CPC of Buhari and the NC of Bola Ahmed Tinubu merged and formed APC, this trend began. In those years, Oshomole did tell Akpabio, when Akpabio having been, you know, accused of monumental corruption in his own Akwa Ibom by the EFCC, Oshomole publicly told him that if he comes to APC, his sins will be forgiven. Many Nigerians will remember that. Today, the same Akpabio, who was accused allegedly to have stolen billions and multi-billions, if not trillions of Akwa Ibom, is now the number 4 man or number 3 man in Nigeria. Is the president of the Nigerian Senate. Now, that is a trend that is already well entrenched, well established. So whether it is coming from APC or from PDP, the grand style is that this, you know, was established politicians, okay, the establishment, they have no respect whatsoever for Nigerian people. They don't believe that the vote of Nigerian people, it matters. They believe that money can buy the collective conscience of the people and give them the way. And that is why, okay, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is feeding fat. Nigerians are suffering. And he comes out to say, let us endure. Because for him, when it comes to election, they can buy the people. So weaponizing hunger against the people is a huge weapon right now that they are using, you understand, to suppress the people. So that is why tomorrow I won't be surprised. This same APC will come out and say, we don't have a candidate, but we have one lizard somewhere, and we have one rabbit somewhere. Those are the candidates that we want to give to Edo State or give to Nigeria. And those lizards and those rabbits will go ahead and win. And they will tell us that for now, they don't have a candidate, but they are doing this thing in vacuum. Everything could further disrespect the people. It is a replica of this example that we are seeing right now with this man. There is no background check, no credibility, nothing to show of competence whatsoever. Besides that, my brother, no matter how bad, how corrupt it is, my brother, make we still use cosmetics to cover some things now, at least just to respect the people a little bit. Now, we are not speaking about the PDP in this light right now in Edo State, right? Okay? We're not speaking about the PDP in this light right now, but we're talking about APC. This is an insult, my brother. It's a huge embarrassment on our collective sensibilities as a people. And if people don't come out to condemn this nonsense, it's further going to stick. And of course, further going to, you know, continue to establish what you have already established. It now makes, we now continue to make it look like we really cannot do anything about it. So long as certain godfathers have decided this is what it is, this is what should be. I think that Edo State people should come out and resist this travesty with everything they've got. We need to send a very clear message that this, it could happen in Nigeria, it could happen in Delta, it could happen anywhere else. It should not happen in Edo State. It must not happen in Edo State. It cannot be considered to happen in Edo State.
I totally agree with you. Like Olumide has always said, the old bended state, Edo and Delta, with a shop book. And if our state, the shop book, we should have people that should be ready to chop us as they talk. But Komilamte, just a final line on this, because that debate is so important. We felt that this Akpakomiza absence was very important for us to talk about. We'll be going to the meat of the debate just now. But Komilante, in your view, do you think that Akpakomiza is actually running away because he cannot speak English? Would there not be a good opportunity for us to say, if you cannot speak English, you can speak vernacular? And if you cannot speak vernacular, what stops you from speaking your Ishan language that you are fluent in? I just want to ask, I don't know the man personally, but could it be that he's just unable to speak English and that is why he's not showing forth?
We've made this case, even when we invited to the comrade show, we try to diffuse the matter to say, look, man, come and speak Pidgin. I think for me, it is not for those people, it's not a question of English now. It's a question of people being able to assess you, to know that you know why you are running for governor. You have programs. It's for you to sell it. Akpata is one of the most, learned persons in the race. He's a lawyer. Akpata has spoken more Pidgin English everywhere he's going to campaign than Queen's English. But what we get about Akpata is that the man is conveying, even where he can speak Benin, where he can speak Esan, the few words he can muzzle, he uses them to convey to the people that I have a message. On education, this is what I want to do. On health, this is what I want to do. On that, this is what I want to do. Akpakomiza doesn't have a message.
So you think it's not that Akpakomiza cannot speak English, you think he doesn't have a message?
He doesn't have a plan. The only plan I've seen him espouse is to tell us that Governor Basaki is doing badly. Is to tell us that he went to River Asue in GROA to go and swim in erosion. Is to tell us that food will be available, rice will be available. How? We don't see how in anything he says. And I've tried to reach where he even engaged with his own talking of his own Esan people. And then he was asked, how do you tackle insecurity? When you listen to Olumide espouse his plans for security in Edo State, you can begin to pick his point and believe what you want to believe. But when Akpakomiza was asked, he referred to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, said, my father, my leader, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will provide security for Edo State. No, he was asked about light. Now, how can you make, that unless OT has stabilized electricity, unless OT of Labour Party has stabilized electricity in Abia State reasonably. You understand what I'm saying? Now, they are trying to make the program now go across all the local governments of Abia State. Now, how can you achieve such a feat in Edo State? He said, our father, my leader, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will give us electricity. That was his response. Now, the Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who cannot handle Nigeria, we are not looking inwards, looking at what the states and the local councils can do, independent of the nation, to provide succor for the Nigerian people. If he will be asked any questions, he will refer to Adams Oshomole. So when people begin to say that, oh, he's a good man, that's why we are supporting him. But some of us can see other people all around him that have very bad names around governors in Edo State, and they are the ones plotted around him right now, and they are the ones who believe if this man, either by way of omission commission, is put there as the governor of Edo State, we know that he's just going to be there by proxy. All of these other human beings right now are the ones going to take straw because they don't have a second address. All they want now is that they want to come and suck Edo State dry at the expense of the over 6 million Edo State people. Come on now. Who does that? Who does that? And when you see people who are intellectually sagacious come out publicly to say they are canvassing and campaigning for Akpakomiza, you are dazed to your core. You ask yourself. On that premise, I have told people that the problem of Nigeria is not just because we cannot have immediate food to eat. It's not just because of the prevailing, poverty in the land. It is that the poverty of the mind is hugely, strongly entrenched. That even if you are a professor, the poverty of your mind is a problem to the entire Nigerian people. The poverty of the mind of the people closer around this APC candidate right now, making advocacy for him, is evident, is palpable, is indelible. We can see it. And some of us are, I weep in my heart because I've seen figures that I've respected with my life because of what they have attained as individuals, telling me that they are supporting Akpakomiza because he's a good man. Who is not a good man? Who is not a good man? Is development and progress in a state goodly, infectious? Is it not a matter of clear plan, clear purpose, clear direction that is accompanied by competence? Is it just a matter of being good? If it's being a good man, why don't you just go and bring one pastor from somewhere and make him the governor of Edo State? We are talking of somebody who has a clear plan, a clear purpose, who we can believe, who we can trust.
Yeah, thank you so much, Comrade Lamte. I'm conscious of time. I know the debate is very important. We need to talk about it, but it's obviously very important too that we talk about the no-show of APC candidate. And I wanted to get something from you, which you've said in clear terms. I was concerned, maybe it's because of the manner and mode with which he would communicate his message. But you have told us this evening, I think I want to believe what you said, that Akpakomiza, the problem is not just the mode of communicating the message, he hasn't got a message. Because if he really has a message, anyhow, he will say it, and Edo Light will put it together and say that this is somebody that we have to follow. You said something very important about the people clamoring and pushing APC. I just want to focus on just one person, and I'll give my reasons. I am, by the grace of God, a qualified pharmacist, both in Nigeria and the UK. And the person I'm about to talk about today is the Director General of the APC campaign organization, talking of Matthew Orohide, who is a senior colleague, a very, 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 very important pharmacist who has worked across many areas. I even heard that at one time, he was president of the Student Union Government University of Benin and played many roles in many SUG governments and even in leadership as a student. He went further to do well in pharmacy, members of board, and eventually became a senator. I think he served 1 or 2 terms. So this person is sagacious, but is the one standing in as Director General for Akpakomiza, who is media shy, content empty, and doesn't appear ready. So that just fits into what you said, Comrade Lamte. Most people are just doing it for their own selfish interest. And like you said, APC, PDP are the same. Matthew Orohide, my senior colleague, was a member of PDP, not quite long, and defected again to APC.
He served in the Senate.
And they didn't see anything different. APC, PDP, like they said, is the same. But it's troubling. But I think what is important, Comrade, that we established this evening is Senator Modi Ukpewolo not just have a problem of communication, he's got no message indeed to sell. Food for thought.
And it's not competent.
Yeah, food for thought for those people as they go in. We are going to look into the second leg of that very important Unuedo Renaissance debate that took place on the 9th of August. We have established and seriously cried at the non-show of the APC candidate. But now, let us get to the meat of the matter. Many people have declared and said that going by performance of the 2 candidates on show, Barrister Osaigbovo Olumide Akpata edged it all. That he was on point and gave answers to the questions that were put before him, and he also showed readiness to become governor from the 22nd of September or in November when he's sworn in. Comrade Lamte, if we have that on show, can we play to our viewers before we begin to dissect the very important issues that were discussed in that debate?
Yeah, just to quickly establish too that I only just picked out excerpts of Olumide's response to questions. You understand? But I'll put that up.
education is so critical. I went to school in what was Edo State. I have never schooled outside Nigeria. I was trained by my country, and I think I can stand shoulder to shoulder with any lawyer, any educated individual in the world, and hold my own. And I think that should be the lot of any Edo Pikin. And we are about Papa, Mama, Pikin. So, what do we do differently? Now, I'm thoroughly dissatisfied with the state of education in my state, considering that we are coming from the commanding heights. To get to King's College, I had to score 91.5% in the interview, because that's where Edo or Bender was placed at the time. Second only to Anambra, I hate to admit, at that time. We have gone around Edo State, and what have we found? Firstly, as far as education is concerned, we must fix education at the primary school level. The good book says if the foundation is faulty, what shall the righteous do? That level is so important. Number one, brick and mortar issues. The environment for learning is as important as the learning itself. And we hear stories of Edo Best. I'd say they remain stories as far as I'm concerned. Because having gone around the state, all three senatorial zones, what have I found? School infrastructure is decrepit. So Labour Party will move in and fix infrastructure, brick and mortar issues. I personally had to go and fix a school in Esan Southeast, in a town called Ewato, close to Ubiaja, because we all saw the video that went viral with children lying down on the bare floor to take their notes in classes. That cannot be best. So, infrastructure is critical, and UNESCO has its prescriptions regarding how much of your budget should be ascribed to education. We must strive to attain that, because that is the best investment ever. Investment in your greatest asset, your human resource. So we will fix infrastructure across the state. Second point, again, contrary to the facts and figures being bandied by the state, teacher recruitment is abysmal. So most of the communities I have visited, from Osaba to Ekoma, you find out that the communities are having to hire teachers themselves for their schools, because their teachers are not being sent to the schools. So that kind of haphazard recruitment process, you can imagine what the outcome is. Come, which school you go? Come and teach the children. What did you study? Maths. Teach them English. What kind of teachers are we finding in the schools? That is the reality in Edo State today. We will organize the recruitment process and make sure that we have teachers in our schools, not just in Benin City or in Auchi, but also in Uronigwe, but also in Okwela. And I've been to all of these places. Now, the next issue is teacher training. College of Education in Igwepe has been shut down. The teacher training colleges that were all over the place, I can't seem to find them. What are the teachers being taught before they themselves can become teachers? Teacher remuneration. You pay peanuts, you get monkeys. You need to pay them well. That we will do. And then finally, curriculum. What are the children being taught? Any child who is not taught technology in today's world is functionally illiterate, in my own estimation. I have investigated, I have interrogated what is being taught in our schools to our children. We have a crisis on our hands. So we will take care of education from all of those perspectives. Now, you will ask me, where's the money going to come from? Well, first and foremost, I think our income profile is enough to deal with education as a very high priority issue. Critical. You know, I wept in Ekoma when I saw what had become of our university, the Ambrose Ali University. It's tragic. That's the only word I can use to describe it. A school that had become iconic. So we would have to, because a lot of our children go to that school for university education. But you have teachers who haven't been paid for close to 30 months. 30. I I went to Ekuma, I was at a club where I had to pitch in because they were putting together a fund for teachers who have not been paid. Faculties have lost accreditation. Meanwhile, another university was set up somewhere else in the state. Essentially gutting out, as far as I'm concerned, this existing university named after our father, Ambrose Ali. So we will have to deal across that whole chain with education because our human resources are our greatest asset. And for Edo, with a chalkbook, standard with a chalkbook. But what has happened now is that children have come to believe that school is scam. And and really, they are being scammed.
Wow. Well, our viewers are asking for the full interview or for the full debate. I think if you go onto YouTube, Unwedo Renaissance, you'll be able to have that.
I think we're going to. I'm already working on that to just to remove all what does not concern the debate out of it because it's quite a long tape. So I want to put just the debate together and I'll put it on the Comrade Show. Hopefully in the next day or two, it's going to be on the Comrade Show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Comrade Lamte, for doing that. I think our viewers want to know that. But I must say that the excerpt we played in that debate, to me, summarize it. I must say, Comrade Lamte, not because of my love for Olumide. I think the guy he resonates Edo State. He speaks Edo State. And he pronounces these words and our various areas with fluency, as if he's from there. And I also observed that those people in the hall, they were all glued and listening with rapt attention as they begin to unfold a lot of stuff. So, Comrade Lamte, looking at that excerpt, I think that covers it for the entire interview for me. There are a few things I want to draw out from there, which I think is very key. I grew up in Benin where education was paramount, and an uneducated enclave, an uneducated people is a recipe indeed for disaster. And that's what you see. Not just education, but quality education. In the course of Olumide talking about it, he spoke a lot about education, which we are going to talk about. He also looked at infrastructure, especially within the educational sector, and he looked at employment as well. And wrapped it up with a very big question people would ask: where are you going to get all this money from? And like he said this week, I think Governor OT of Abia State has come out to say that he has done so much, but yet he hasn't borrowed money. So, Comrade Lamte, what will be your immediate reaction to the many things that Barrister Olumide Akpata, who has been adjudged the best in that debate, had to say? How did those things meet you? And like I told him when we met in one engagement, or when he came to the Comrade Show, we promised and told him that the internet never forgives. When you become governor, this will play to you. So, Comrade Lamte, what are your immediate reaction to that very important debate and what Olumide had to say in those questions?
Honestly, I was very, very impressed. The reason is because one, when you look at the other candidate, Aswe Odalo, you would say came from a position of strength. He's part of the government. He knows the in and out of the government. You understand what I'm saying? And Olumide came in as an underdog. He's never been in government. He's not a part of the government. He doesn't know what the government gets and how the government spends what they spend. But he understands that there is a financial framework for Edo State. And this financial framework for Edo State should be working for Edo State people. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? And so having that understanding, that motivation, that look, the resources of Edo State can be managed a lot better to achieve a lot more results. Okay, so now I've watched the interview from the very beginning to the end and all of that. And for me, for those, I align with those that have agreed that Olumide won the debate, looking at all of these circumstances put together. And again, you could see that Olumide was a candidate who provided very lucid answers, response that is closely akin to who we are as a people. You understand? It is not a response, that is that is colored in plenty of grammar. You understand what I'm saying now? Using plenty of reference that the people cannot verify. The man has said on agriculture, said, man, look, we have a clear plan for agriculture, for instance. And that plan is very simple. Okay, we want to ensure that our farms are secured, encourage our farmers to go to farm, buy up the products by the time they are harvested, and bring them to the market through government channels to ensure that people have different options to buy from what is available in the market and to buy from what government has encouraged those state farmers to bring to the market. Monitor, not a question of giving loans and you don't know what happens to the loan, you don't know the end product of the loan. So looking at the way Olumide marshaled out his points, his plans, and everything, honestly, I align strongly, and I think that he did excellently well. As a matter of fact, for me, Olumide did not look in that interview like somebody who is coming. He appeared to me like somebody who's running for a second term. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now, and all of that. And on the part of Asue Udalo, when I was listening, on some of the occasions, Asue would always say, I agree with what Olumide had said. I agree with what Olumide had said. I'm going to play that interview at some point. I agree with what Olumide had said. And Asue too pointed out defects in the state, things that need to be improved on. Some of the things he pointed out are the things that the Obaseki Oshins are telling us are available already. The Obaseki Oshins make it look like Edo State is starting on a perfect pedestal. Everything is all right, nothing wrong. Olumide has transversed the length of breadth of Edo State since the primaries. He has transversed the length and breadth of Edo State, all local governments, all wards, at least 4 times. And he's going to do that at least 2 times more before the election. So he knows now the practical reality, confronting the people of Ewatu, the practical reality, confronting the people of Auchi, the practical reality, confronting the people of Ujeme, of Ekboma, of Udo. You understand me now? Of all those villages of Via Northeast local government. So he knows, he's seen them, he has encountered them. You understand what I'm saying? So he cannot speak too from a position of strength, having been with his people. And again, when you look at the campaign, Olumide's campaign is not in the air. Olumide is meeting the people, eyeball to eyeball, doorstep to doorstep, one by one, groups by groups. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? Having that first-time interaction and engagement. And I think that is very key. And he did not say that. He's not even saying that, oh, I do not have my running mate from Edo Central. He's been to Edo Central, to all the kingdoms in Edo Central. Met with the people. Because the Benin man says, he's going to meet with the heads of every of the dukedoms in the land and all of that. That, for me, speaks volumes. So when what he did, his performance at the level of this interview, of this debate, for me, I thought it was top notch. He showed a man who is ready to be governor from day one, and that is important to Edo State people. That is important to me, and I believe very strongly that we have not made any mistake in choosing to be with Olumide Akpata.
Yeah, thank you so much, Komilante, for that assertion. But I also want to say that Sunday Erunse is saying that Akpata did not win the debate. Please stop lying, sir. And for your information, he's not winning the governorship election. Like I said, this is a very balanced show. Sometimes we're going to be reading the things that people say. Well, Sunday Erunse, thank you so much for that. In our view, we think that Barrister Olumide edged out everybody in that debate and is the man to beat. But in that same vein, it will also be good for me to read Stella Eyogai. Stella is saying that, please tell my dear Olumide Osaigbovo Akpata to visit my village. You go know Yakioyomo. The Enogie is waiting to receive him. The road from Benin City to Abraka is very bad, and that the people cannot transport their foodstuff to Benin City for sale. We find it very difficult to go home to visit our parents because of the bad road, I think. So I think that's equally very important.
Sorry, sir. These are real issues.
Yes.
But the Oshins of Obaseki will tell you that every road in Benin is all right. Obaseki has done that. Honestly, my brother. Anyway, go on.
Yeah. So thank you, Stella. I believe the Labour Party people are watching, they will send that message to Olumide, and before long, he will be visiting Ugoniyo Okoriomo to see
Ogoni Okorion.
Ugoniyo Okoriomo. Thank you so much for that. I just wanted to chip that in. Please, viewers, friends of the Comrade Show, keep it coming. Keep putting your comments. We will read it. September 21st, Bacon and Edo State people, in their usual way, will decide. So, Comrade Lamte, I come back again. I want you to dwell on education as postulated by Akpata. Education is the fabric of our society. And the current governor of Edo State, Governor Godwin Obaseki, pride himself as have taken education to another level. And it was education, Edo Best 1.0, and nice Edo Best 2.0. But even in this Edo Best, Olumide, according to him in that debate, has gone far and wide across the state and sees nothing best about Edo Best. And something striking that he said, that because people now believe that school is a scam, he think it's a scam because the government is also scamming the people. So in any way you go to, there is an issue of scam. And he also made us to realize that then days, it was Anambra State and Edo State. And to get to King's College, you need to do well. And that in fact, he got about 91 and a half over 100 to secure a place. And you know that Aswa Ngodalo also went to King's College. So obviously, it will be in that same realm as well. Which means that Edo State people indeed, they shop book. What can we say now? Is there any book available to be shop?
They always are. They always have been. You know, I think there are two things here, but one majorly is for the people who have come out to strongly criticize Edo Best. You understand? You are not going to blame them. As a matter of fact, I read one piece where somebody described Edo Best as a scam. As a matter of fact, the person went further to say that Edo Best was a conduit for this government to siphon the resources of Edo State. You understand? And when you look at the practical reality on the ground, you will understand. My brother, you went to school in that land. You are contributing now in your own alumni group, in your own secondary school, to fix things in your school. Now, there is no impact of Edo Best outside the small examples that the Edo State government, put out. What they did is that they had a pilot program for Edo Best. Probably one or two schools, they used that one to represent that pilot program, and every resources that are going to Edo Best, that school was what was sampled. Meanwhile, Egosa Grammar School has no impact from Edo Best. Adola College, no impact. Uselu Secondary School, as a matter of fact, that one is, if I pray that they don't even say me that one and say that.
Are you very sure the governor and the secretary to government are both alumni of Egosa Grammar School, if I'm correct?
My brother, I am telling you right now, Edo Grammar School, I have friends from Edo Grammar School. They contributed money even recently to put one of the classrooms together in the Grammar School. Now this is
I'm just saying maybe
we're not talking of any isolated this thing. Actually, what they have done, I describe the government of Obaseki, as the government of the optics. Shiny government. They will use one small this thing like this to represent a whole. You understand? And they will use the social media options to make the matter look like the entire state has become London. Now, when you not just oppose the state of Edo State right now, with the resources and the report we get, the money that are going to Edo State, my brother, you will be asking yourself, what do we have on our hands? And that is what it is, because it is the failure of Obaseki that is making many of us reject as well. Because we believe very strongly that best of the same feather, they flock together. Obaseki and Aswe Udalo, they've been in this Edo State arrangement for about 16 years. And I also strongly believe that they just want to exchange batting. They knew right from day one that when Obaseki don't do it own, he will hand over to Aswe. They probably already have in mind who they want to hand over to after Aswe Udalo. That is not an arrangement that should stand in Edo State. In any case, I have argued.
Komelamte, I'm going to stop you there now. I want you to relate what you are about to say now, because I like what a very great contributor of our program, Arebonoso Kokone, he has always been following us. And he has put something there. I think I want to read this so that you can whip it in part of your answer. Politicians are not different. This is the same way we sold Governor Obaseki 4 years ago, and today we can tell you that the masses are not happy with the level of governance in Edo State by Governor Godwin Obaseki. The question is, what is the assurance that Olumide Akpata will not do the same like Obaseki? Comrade.
Okay, okay, very good. Thank you very much. Now, let me quickly go to that. First and foremost, Shakespeare says a man cannot predict the temper of a chick. No, I mean, that's Onaro to me. A man cannot predict the temper of a chick still in its egg. Okay, it's very true. All we can do right now is to look at the candidates on the ground, look at the credentials, look at their background, and begin to postulate. You understand what I'm saying? That's all we can do. Okay. Now, the reason why, I mean, we supported Obaseki. The difference between Obaseki and Olumide of today is that Obaseki was already part of the government. You understand what I'm saying now? Now, our support for Obaseki 4 years ago was not really premised. This is my own case, so
on deliverables.
On deliverables. Because I didn't have anything to really argue with, say, in his first term, he has positioned Edo State better. Now, my support for him, okay, was to ensure that the purpose of Osomole does not stand. Osomole brought this man 4 years earlier, and 4 years later, Osomole kicked him out and was giving us the person whom he kicked against 4 years earlier. And so, for us, it was a vengeance mission to say, man, that kind of godfatherism cannot stand in Edo State. Now, that was my first purpose. Now, that purpose having been attained, and we were in that campaign, okay, it only now beheld on me that any man who now look at the kind of majority out of pity that he now enjoyed to become governor of Edo State, even though his first term may not have been, reasonably okay, he should not reward these people that are coming to support his second term, okay, with deliverables. Are you following what I'm saying now? Now, this was my own case. I sat down with the governor on many occasions to talk to him. He used my platform to talk to Edo State people on many occasions and every other thing and all of that. And the governor gave assurances to Edo State people, publicly and privately. And so the strength upon which I was campaigning for the governor for, I don't know about all that, was that this man, having seen the kind of majority he's riding on, should now reward the people. Somebody just said there's no road leading to Ugoni Yokorion. Is that not a shame? It is a shame. But this is not an isolated case. This is replicated in very many other places. Even though some of us will not use even road construction as a yardstick to measure governance, we use so many of other things. You understand what I'm saying? We can comfortably stand and say that this government has not met, up to expectation. So these were the grounds upon which some of us supported the government. Even 1 year after, he had no commissioners. He had no House of Assembly. He was running the state himself and Ogie and Philip Shaibu 1 year after, and we were defending him. It was after 1 year getting to 2 years. And he has not started delivering on the things he said he wanted to deliver on. And I said, that was when I started beginning to become a bit critical gradually. Now, on the flip side, Olumide Akpata, as a truth, yes, I can only postulate. If Olumide becomes the governor of Edo State, it is his business to succeed as a governor. It is the business of Edo State people to say, I pick side with this for this and that reason. Now, the difference between Olumide Akpata and Obaseki 4 years ago is this. Olumide has never been in government. Olumide is not a product of any provable godfather that we can say we know. Olumide has proven to be enthusiastic about using the financial framework of the state to reposition the state. He told me, he said, comrade, he said, it is doable. We want to prove to them, even if not just 4 years I just want to prove to the people that Edo State can be repositioned. It's worse. See, I'm not crazy after a second term. If I do not succeed in my first term, that means I've gotten it wrong. I have no business even returning second term. That if I win and I must to chase a second term, it must be because the people want me to come for a second term. Now, Olumide has no history. He's not a member of the economic team. He's not chairman of the economic team. He was not a chairman of a bank like Ashwell was. And through the same bank, Edo State is now owing nearly 600 billion. Olumide has no connection. He's an outsider like you and I who are very enthusiastic. And I believe that Olumide can leverage on his enthusiasm and the support of Edo State people who truly want governance to be fed in their local governments, in their villages, in their lives. We're just having a protest now over hunger. Edo State government addressed the nation, pushed the blame to the federal government. And the question I've asked is, you have been governor for 8 years. Tell us one commodity in the market that is 10 naira cheaper because of your policies as a governor. Tell us, because you're not just a governor in name. Federal government gave you resources, even though the government has been lying about a lot of things. Now, the government has not been able to tell us that a bag of garri that is 90,000 is actually 60,000 because of government intervention. Now, I have told Olumide, I said, look, when you become governor, things are expensive. We want to see your impact on our garri, on our rice, on our plantain. Let people begin to say that plantain is 2,000 naira instead of 2,000 naira instead of 10,000 naira because of the intervention you, Olumide, as governor, has made. And the man has said, if I am governor, God willing, we are going to tackle agriculture. Our impact must be fed in the price of things in the market. Don't come and give us data. They'll come put a laptop, put what they call them projector, analyze data. Meanwhile, the people are not feeling anything about the data. Some others will say MOU government, but I would say this is a government of the optics. To the people who are abroad, it looks scintillating, it looks tantalizing. You understand what I'm saying now? They package it. Everybody's like, oh man, wow. But you come down to the reality. The people are in abject poverty. The federal government has failed, we know. But what is the price difference in our own small things that we buy every day, that we live with because of the impact and the effect of you being a governor of a state? If we cannot get that answers, then you have no local standard to dictate to us who will be the next governor of Edo State. Particularly when we have seen all the different parts of you. You were a man who supported that, having come through a product of a democracy we defended for your sake, you organized a local government election. You practically stole the election. You wrote the results. You did not allow the will of the people in the local government count. You organized House of Assembly election. You practically stole the election. You wrote the results. You were the man who benefited from a democratic process that we defended for your sake against the bourgeois, against the what we call the establishment. And today, you are the
establishment.
You have not positioned yourself as the chief of the establishment, and you want to give us somebody who has been at your beck and call. Both of you have run the state the way the state is at the moment, and you want us not to resist. We will resist with everything we've got. Whether we win or we lose, either way, we will be pleased because we stood on the right path. That is what this is about. That is the difference between Olumide Akpata and Asua Udalo. And Olumide has shown he's competent, he's ready, he's prepared, and most of all, the man has empathy. And so, apart from whether somebody is competent, is this, is that, the big question is this person trustworthy? I have trust issues with Obaseki and everything surrounding Obaseki. Trust issue in governance. Because unless and until they explain to us how we have expended 600 billion and yet rice is not 1 naira cheaper, garri is not 1 naira cheaper, tomato is not 1 naira cheaper, then we have a problem. We have a real problem with all of that. So all of that put together, my brother, you can see that in this election that is coming, the only option available to Edo State people, in any case, my brother, on the flip side, for the people who are advocating that Obaseki has done well, if Obaseki has done well, fine. Will it not also be right? Will it not also be justifiable that Edo State will have a chance to open the books and really check how Obaseki has done? If he has done well, let us write his name in gold. Have a look at the books. But who's going to look at the books? who is going to look at what Obaseki has done and what he has not done? Is it Asue? Of course not. The only person right now on the field who can do that will be Olumide Akpata, who can say, all the money of Edo State when they miss, we need it back. How do this one? We not come get the money. The ones where they una hand, wanna bring and come back if you cannot properly account for it. A state where you spend 1 million on a project and you spend 10 billion on consultancy, my brother, matter day, a lot of matter day. And this was the same governor who promised us, say he accused of Oshomole of this 30 billion stormwater project, and he told me he was going to probe that project. So there's anybody talking about it? Should I begin to reel out all the things this man promised? But he, like the APC where he came from, know how to take Edo State people for granted. And that's exactly what he wants to do. That's why he will now. So my brother, it must be resisted.
Thank you so much, Comrade. I think you've done enough justice to that. Friends and viewers of the Comrade Show, you see, it is your darling program. Pick up the phone, ring in. Let us hear your view. It's just a little over an hour. I'm looking to close this show in the next 10 to 15 minutes, but we still have a very important issue to talk about. I must commend those that have been very interactive on our interactive section. I need to give it to Arobonoso Okukoni, who has been very active. Henry O, I would have loved to read your comment, but I wouldn't read it because your name is not complete there. Henry O can be anything. Put your last name properly, and I will definitely read your comment. I see Arobonose asking a question saying that the masses are not in support, and Peter Odion is saying that majority of the masses are happy with Governor Godwin Obaseki. It's just unfortunate that Edo South are ungrateful. So he's saying that Edo South is the only ungrateful one. And I think Ariuyime Ogbeide is saying that Aswe is the next governor. And Nancy Eweka is just saying that, Komilante, do you know why I don't like this guy, meaning you? Because he's very unfair to Obaseki. He has not seen anything good in Obaseki. I must say, Nelson, that's not very correct. The man Comrade is the man that brought Obaseki in conjunction with so many people. Whatever he believes in, he fights for it. And if you listen to him very well, you know where he's coming from. And indeed, the entire Comrade show. But I must say, keep your comments coming. I will continue to read as many as possible. All we do here is to better Edo State, so that Edo State will be good for you and good for me. I tell you what has happened recently. Even those of us that live in diaspora, we are not spared. At some point, you'll be told that remember that this is not your country. Like Comrade said last week, we want to go back when evening comes to our state and be able to relax. And what we do today will be a bit fulcrum for tomorrow. I also think, in my view, that many people are just carried away with this Aswe Obaseki bandwagon because it's the government of the day. I have met so many friends, but I've not seen any neutral friend that is saying this objectively. Those supporting APC, I know a lot, are because they are benefiting from APC. Those supporting PDP, I know a lot, is because they are benefiting from PDP. Myself, Comrade Lamte, we are benefiting from nothing, and we decided to take the clarion call. So I don't get carried away with many of the PDP, APC people, because they are not the people that matters. The people that matters are those that are far from government, the masses, who I believe will come out on that day, having listened to the message of these people to give their vote. If you ask me, in this election in Edo State, I think PDP and APC should rank 4th or 5th. If I have my way, it should be Labour Party first, followed by YPP, NROM, and maybe PDP and APC in that order. They should not even get close to that day. They are relying on so many things, but I want to tell you, all those things will be demystified because those state people will come out in their full throttle to cast their vote. And I'm sure they will cast it for the new kid in the block. No other but Barrister Olumide Osaigbovo Akpata. Many people have asked many questions. Labour Party has got 1 or 2 issues. I think that's where we should give Olumide credence for being able to manage this, even outside power. What will happen when he becomes governor? Everything he did will settle and be sublime. And remember, Nigerians are so funny. As soon as somebody becomes a governor, everybody tends to align because all we are looking for is that recognition. But Barrister Olumide Akpata has said he's coming to change it, and change it will happen, and it must happen. So if you think Edo State and want progress, please let us begin to talk to our walls, talk to our friends, and talk to people. Argue with content, argue with issues, not on frivolities, please. We are conscious of time. ring in. Please feel free to ring in and air your view. But Comrade Lamte, as we begin to wrap up today's program, we talked about this briefly last week, and we are going to talk about it again. The issue of rice and the hoarding of rice by Edo State government is not going away. Earlier this week, the former governor of Edo State, who has interest in this election too, because I have come to conclude that the elections is a fight between two godfathers and an outsider. I think Oshiomhole is a godfather to Senator Monday Okpebholo, and Obaseki is the godfather of Aswe. They all have their interests. We thought we fought this, but it's coming back again. But to put that aside, Oshiomhole was involved in an interview with Arise earlier this week. Although many of the people have been talking about the other issues, we are not interested in that. But the issue we are interested in is the revelation granted by Adams Oshiomhole, informing the people of the tumultuous amount of money that the federal government has released to the state government. I think on one occasion he quoted 11.6 billion and he quoted 1.1 billion. And he also said that 20 trailer load or truck load of rice was sent to Edo State government. You remember that last week there was a big issue about discovery of rice in different places, specifically in Aurora, and people came out, the government came out to defend themselves. They never informed us that any bag of rice was given to them by federal government until the revelation of Oshiomhole. I don't know if we have that Arise interview in play.
Just to further, put this thing in perspective. You see, again, sometimes it's not just about whether somebody is competent to govern a state or to lead a people at that matter. It's a lot of issue has to do with trustworthiness. I think that Obaseki has been found wanting when it comes to trustworthiness. When this matter came up, it started with this video that went viral. We're going to play it shortly. The first response of the government was that they didn't get any rice from the federal government. That's Governor Obaseki issuing a statement that the governor himself was the one who brought out money and gave to churches to buy rice and bag. You understand what I'm saying now? For the state and to share to their people. Only for Oshiomhole to come up with that revelation, and the entire internet space was whitewashed. And you know what they do? They have a lot of social media support base, Facebook, everywhere. You understand? So, but they hold meetings. This is what I'm told. They hold meetings. They have a group. So as soon as the PDP has theirs, as well a campaign has, equally have theirs. So people, vacillate between the two of them. Now, as soon as they bring out anything from wherever it is coming from to be promoted, all of them on Facebook or YouTube, they will say the same thing at the same time. Most of them are on the payroll of either the governor or the actual campaign. You understand me? So at the end of it, which is why you see the bandwagon effect, because they know how to capture the people. A lot of the people clapping their hands right now, calling Aswe, they don't even have the faintest idea of the state of Edo State. Why they are doing what they are doing is because Aswe campaign has become like a carnival. So to them, if they don't belong to this carnival-like kind of arrangement, you understand what I'm saying now? They are missing out. But the truth remains that the people on the ground, they know exactly what they are feeling. So a lot of the guys we find on social media, many of whom are living in diaspora, okay, they make others try to follow this bandwagon effect. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? But that's on one side. Now, when the government came out to say, oh, the ambassador Oshiomhole, blah, 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 but I picked interest in this because Christian Ikare, the mouthpiece of the government, eventually narrowly owned up to the fact that the federal government actually gave them rice.
Why was it not told to us earlier on?
No, they didn't say that. They were after this one after they have condemned Oshiomhole massively. Honestly, I don't think Oshiomhole should be on this arrangement at all. But Oshiomhole is fighting to become the governor of Akpakomiza. He must not have his way. But we cannot take these sensitive matters, for granted. These are matters that border on this state, and these are matters that make us question. You understand what I'm saying now? The authenticity of Obaseki as a defender of the people. He's not. Obaseki is only interested in his own personal purpose. That is what has been. But meanwhile, let's play the essay. It started from here.
Our race, see our race government give us a call head, we don't locate her. Yeah, now Aurora. See rest everywhere. See rest. Chill off rest. No, come carry rest. See rest. For Aurora. See rest. See Edo State rest. See they give us. See they go hide down. See Edo State rest. They go hide down. Our rest. See our rest. So see government. See our bad government. See our rest. See they dash us. They go.
Now they told us, even some pastors came out. May God forgive all of them, particularly the ones that probably are just trying to come out to say, oh, this is the governor who gave us this one and gave us that. So we were bagging one truck. They gave some very, all of this were just to manage the crisis. Now, Oshomole now came out this after. This is what Oshomole said. Let's take a listen.
I'm sorry to take some time. Is that it had done so much by way of what can the president do now? President has given state governors, for example, this last month, about 400 and something billion, which no state collected less than 10 billion naira. Some go more than 10 billion naira. Grant. In addition to the fact that when I was governor, the revenue of Edo State, for example, I wasn't getting more than 3 billion, 3.2 billion. Last month, my governor got 11 point, I think the month before, 11.6, last month about 11.1 billion. Plus those grants. And then the Minister of Agriculture said 20 trucks of rice. Now, I saw yesterday, I think if we on your channel or in Arise Television, that rather than give out this rice were being rebagged, putting a state government name in it, and they were not being distributed. The people discovered it, and they democratized the distribution.
All right.
You call it looting. I
Okay,
said, no,
Senator, I know we have issues.
Now, that's Oshomole. When Oshomole came with this, that is just an excerpt. It's a long interview when he indicted the government black and blue. Okay? Now, this is not to exonerate the federal government. The federal government has failed woefully. Okay? Now, he now made a claim that there was these 20 trucks that was sent to Edo State. He further went to say that Dangote equally brought rice to Edo State. You understand the people I'm saying now? Well, I don't want to go into all of that. But the picture the government of Edo State gave to us after lambasting Oshomole on social media everywhere was that Obaseki brought out money to be given to churches to do this. The first question I asked was, if Obaseki trusted these churches so much, why did Obaseki not ask the churches to be paying civil servants' salary? Why is he not putting civil servant salary through the churches? You are asked to govern Edo State people, and you are giving us this explanation that you gave money to churches to buy rice, to do this, to do that. When you know your state is hungry, there are people who are not members of CAN, who are not members of any church. There are people who are traditional believers who are equally hungry. There are people who are not affiliated to any of these churches, and they are Edo State people, and they are hungry. And in any case,
they are atheists, people that don't believe in God.
And there are people who don't believe in God at all. You know, there are atheists exactly who don't believe in God. You understand? And they are hungry. They are entitled to this succor, as it were. Now, what the government can only now tell us that they gave to CAN to distribute, and you go around, you don't have testimonies of people who have come out to say, man, we got this from a state government and every other thing. Now, they denied federal government assistance in this regard. Chris Neihari was quizzed. I think it was on Channels TV or so, I can't remember. And he had this to say. Just take a listen.
Mr. Naikari, I'd like you to speak pointedly to the point he made. Has Edo State received the 20 trucks of rice from the federal government? Yes or no? So we get that out of the way.
In March, well, I will say we received some trucks of rice, some trucks. Well, I will say we received some trucks of rice, some trucks. Well, I will say we received some trucks of rice, some trucks.
That's Chris Neihari. Now, this after a whole long 2 weeks or nearly so of the government of Edo State coming to tell us that they didn't get anything from the federal government. It is Obaseki who gave out this money and every other thing. So, if Chris Neihari will not admit that they received some trucks of rice from the federal government, it therefore means that what Oshomole is saying is true. That this rice actually what the federal government brought to Edo State, in conjunction with what Dangote brought, that was now people were now being asked to go and rebag after filling their warehouses, or as the case may be, at the expense of Edo State people. And yet Edo State government did not provide any mechanism through which they monitor that the rice has got it to Edo State people, the most needy. We do not even have figures, database or whatever to show that we know our people in Edo State. We know who is downtrodden. We know who is most needy. And these were some of the things that we tasked the governor of Edo State, on when he became governor second term. Part of the reason why some of us are really, really angry. It is not too much. It's not rocket science. Some of our people who are here into IT can help the state with it. Some of us said we will provide that expertise for you, Your Excellency. Let us have a database. Let every Edo State person be registered, indigenous and residents. Let us have their status on that database. So you can easily, quickly manage situations, manage resources amongst Edo State people. So that when matters like this come, you look at your database, you know everybody, you understand what I'm saying? You know those that will need this the most. People don't even need to go through churches. You know their contact number. You understand what I'm saying now? And places are set up for these people to be called to come and receive palliatives transparently. Everybody go to see them. But rather, they hoarded. And remember, a similar thing like this happened 4 years ago. And we're all managing this thing, defending him and every other thing. One human being called me up and said, oh, comrade, I don't know where you are. The human being from Nigeria, I don't want to mention his name. I'm in crisis. I went to Okoro. I just quickly go make an announcement that there was no palliative in that place. Or he didn't know, blah, 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 blah. And immediately called the governor. I interviewed him here. I called Chris Osaigbovo. I interviewed him here just to try to see how we can now manage the crisis in a way. You understand the picture from at that time, we were strong believers. But events have happened over and over and over again to make us know that, man, what have we dipped our hands and legs into? It is the same thing that's replicating itself right now. Why Edo State people are suffering, okay? Even though there are palliatives here and there that cannot go around, I can tell you that some human beings have profited and made millions from these available palliatives.
Absolutely.
And you know another thing they do, which is very annoying. If you watch last year, the present running mate of Osaigbovo, Barrister Ogie, called his neighborhood and some of his supporters together in his compound. He was giving some rebagged, 10 kilo of rice or so, or 20 kilos of rice to people and giving them, a chicken. And the whole internet space was awash. They were all smiling and happy. Oh man, he's a good man, he's a good man. These are things already that belong to the people.
But that bag of rice and chicken is the road to a Kenwa road, is the road to Otuo. The money for road and all. That's what you're eating.
Listen. Now, these are the things that belong to the people. Who knows? They probably will be keeping these so that when it's time for election, they start doing massive sharing, all to win the people to vote for Osaigbovo. I told people about 3 months ago, I said, just start watching. Between now and election day, you will see what Obasanjo will start doing. Things he didn't do before, just to ensure that he wins the people over to himself. That is what he does. Before his election in 2020, he recruited over 1,500 SSAs. 4 months after, he disengaged all of them, just to win election. He has done the same thing now. I was called to nominate 5 people to be given SSAs. You know what I'm saying now? And I know that the purpose for these now to make the company campaign for this thing. Those are the people right now you see, the Oshins right now, who you see carrying placards of Aswe, this and that. My brother, I don't have any problem with Aswe Udalo. The only issue I have is that I have trust issues with him. And to that extent, I don't believe he should be considered to become the next governor of Edo State. You understand what I'm saying now? This is where they have put Edo State. And we must be wary. We are seeing 99 of these. There is nothing left in 100. And that is what I'm concerned. That's why I said this matter is a matter that we cannot just wish away like that. After insulting Osomole, Christian Ekari now said they received some trust of life. It tried to debunk, to try to make some additional argument to say it's not enough. But you know the flip side, just to respond to Arubo Nelson Okokoni, based on the question he asked. I interviewed Olumide's friend here, okay, just to have insight into Olumide. Who's Olumide? From those who thoroughly know him. And I said, man, look at what situation in Edo State. Rice hoarding, the rice conundrum in Edo State. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? And all of that. What do you think? What's your take on this rice conundrum in Edo State? You know what he told me? He said, if Olumide becomes governor, will he hoard rice? The guy felt embarrassed. He said, if he sees that under Olumide government as a childhood friend, he's going to be very, very embarrassed. Because the kind of discussion he has had with Olumide is that Edo State should not be in a position where people are beginning to hoard rice. People are beginning to run with rice. Olumide, according to him, in 3-4 years, should be able to make Edo State self-sufficient, food available. Edo State must conquer hunger in 4 to 8 years. You know what I'm saying now? So the idea of people running after food, after bag of rice, it exists under Olumide. That's why the way he sees it. And that can only happen if there is massive investment in agriculture. And Olumide has said, we will not just invest and make it top priority in agriculture. When we encourage the farmers to go to the farm in a mechanized way, you know, when it's time for harvest, we will buy up the product from them. We will set up our own stand in various markets where we'll be selling tomatoes produced from Edo State, cassava produced from Edo State, what's it called? Plantain produced from Edo State. So we're not going to say, farmers, we don't clear the bush, we don't go farm, we don't know what happens to the produce. Say government must be interested in that matter. My brother, any man who gives me that assurance that we will give farmers 1 million and they go plant cassava, the government is interested to see the produce come to the market for the other people to come and buy at a cheaper and a reduced rate. My brother, I know we'll take that comment for granted. And that is what the Olumide has said he will do. And we are here. We're not collecting money for Olumide. We're not the 1 naira. If it does not work this work, my brother, we are here. Not the person they talk about so now. Critical thing. If Olumide, we have told him, not to talk Koro when he came here. So, Olumide, don't forget to. The promises you are making, you must be ready to work the work. That's why we have not compromised ourselves with Olumide. We will never compromise ourselves. When he works the work, we will stand strong and firm with him to make him succeed. If he does not work it, we will remind him. And if after colossal reminder, he does not change course to give us what he said he will do, we will become critical. It's exactly what we have done with Obaseki. We reminder, he not change course. We became critical. I know they owe him one damn. If one person they owe person, now they owe me. Now they owe me massively. He can't even pay. But I'm not asking for the money, you know, all the time or the everything. So that our own, like you have said, rightly established now. Let Edo State be better for us. So Edo State is good for us. I am hopeful. Last week here, in the UK here, we are British citizens, but here, racism protest constant. Everybody, no matter the kind of passport we hold, everybody was concerned. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? Because whether you hold passport to blue, red, black, whatever it is, so we all know by blood we are Nigerians by birth and by inclination. This one we hope for here was will be citizens of that. Now paper it be. The real citizens we will be now citizens of Nigeria. If it's said, now that Nigeria will go. But if we have a better Edo State, anything said, will gladly go to our peaceful Edo State. We gladly go to our secure Edo State. We gladly go to our Edo State where food is abundant, where government is in place. And Olumide has said he will provide that environment for us. Why we know we hold us strong? My brother, over to you, Jared.
Thank you so much, Comrade Lamte. What a fine place to bring to this show. You've said a lot. There is nothing new. I think Olumide is the candidate that will take Edo State to indeed the next level. I haven't seen PDP and APC. And I think Patience Ogbefu, our sister, she's been writing a lot. Let me read it. He said, don't deceive yourself. Olumide go nowhere. I want to say to Patience, I think I'm not deceiving myself. I think Olumide will go somewhere. Definitely. And then let us not be blindfolded. Let us not be blindfolded to think only of ourselves, but think indeed of the state. It baffles me that even at this time, we are still talking of PDP, APC. They should be long gone. And I think Edo State is indeed the place to start that renaissance. Viewers of the Comrade Show, it's been very epic today. We've talked about the Unuedo Renaissance program, and clearly on the lips of everybody that Olumide Akpata won that convincingly. We also frown at the no-show of the APC candidate, Senator Monday Okpewolo, and we've argued that Edo State is too sagacious, Edo State is too sophisticated to give the governorship of our state to somebody that's running away from us. And Comrade was very clear, and he thinks the reason why Senator Monday Okpewolo is running away is because he hasn't got a message. And the story is not how to deliver the message, but that indeed there is no message. We've also looked at the current impasse with the issue of rice and palliative, and we think the government has been very unfair and insincere, and also the issue of trust. And on that premise, we think a government that lacks trust cannot beget another government. That is why PDP should not be in this contest or should not be considered for a vote. And looking at all of them, Olumide Akpata of Labour Party stands out. Comrade Lamte, thank you so much for your time today. As we draw the program to a close, I just want you to give your parting words.
Thank you very much, Promises. My parting words are very simple. Edo State people, I have known in my life that governance has impact on the lives of the people. And right now, we have a clear choice before us. Right now, we need a champion in the Osaigbovo Avenue, a champion that will champion our collective cause, a champion that will look at the state of Nigeria and know that as the governor of Edo State, he has a responsibility to make garri cheaper, to make cassava cheaper, to make yam cheaper, to make tomatoes cheaper, to make those basic things at least cheaper and affordable. That a governor who will know that his own impact as a governor, okay, is important enough to provide the best facility for our schools in Edo State, to provide the best health care for Edo State people, even without anything from the federal government. Any man comes to that realization and knows that he has that responsibility to do that, to deliver on that, that man has my support too. I don't know about you, but right now, Olumide speaks the language that I understand, and I believe the commoners in Edo State understand. Right now, it is not about Nigeria, it's about how we will rescue our state, because Nigeria is already a sinking ship. We may not be able to do much, but we can do so much about Edo State. 21st of September beckons. Let Olumide be the clear choice. And not say, may you just carry on now, may you carry on wrong. Go and check everything all along. Think about it. We still have time. For those of us who don't say, oh, now here, now there, critically think again. And probably you may come to the realization that I don't come since. Say, now Olumide, then we will support. That will be my parting shot. God bless you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Comrade Lamte. As we bring today's show to a close, I'll leave you with the words of Comrade Lamte. I haven't looked at everything. Now Olumide, we will support. Let's stay committed. A new Edo State is possible.
Labour Party. Party ni magwalo otega bu osena zebo ibieto mezona nejeme. Party ni magwalo.
Enwata no Labour Party otu ni mani wiedoze no orima otu ne Peter Obiye ona otu no ga setiru agwakpa kevo maye otedo mani wiedo manemi no bugbe wo bakari oba no ga mani makeve mo magwalo ọnwa anọga setiru na hia nye n'ọgọ bima otima Olumide Osaigbovo Akpata ọgarue awọ gbugbo game iyobo neva eme na kpọwe ya owisi miegbe garo ukpaga babe he ya ọga wiyobigo neva ni dueki ibima ga yesuku no ma okwi kpata biziga no kiabe ya na eyarisi yo wariazene Olumide Osaigbovo Akpata ari yere ipise nyangene patinike dovebona iya ma ruebi ropa iya ma gbetu fiele ona hia yi ma ya fe